If you can hear me, please feel free to put yes in the question and answer module, and we'll go ahead and make sure everyone's connected. If you aren't connected, feel free to give us a call, or if you're not able to hear any kind of audio, feel free, or if your audio is kind of a little messy, go ahead and feel free to give us a call at 1-800-iMatrix, or if it's crackling or you just don't hear anything at all. I know a couple people said that they can't hear me. I think a few of them actually can hear me now. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to type it out. If you do have any questions for this presentation, I will go ahead and hold on to them until the end. I'll have Dr. Glazier go ahead and answer those questions towards the end. That way we don't interrupt the presentation at all. But again, if you aren't able to stay for the whole presentation, we're going to go ahead and have this recorded, and we'll be able to give it out to those that aren't able to attend either, if you have any colleagues that aren't able to attend it right now. Okay? So today our presentation is from Dr. Glazier. Dr. Alan Glazier is the owner and founder of Shady Grove Eye and Vision Care. He also holds a BS from the University of Maryland and a doctorate from the New England College of Optometry. He's the founder and CEO and inventor of core technology patents of Vision Solutions Technology. They are a company with a novel implantable lens that benefits people suffering from macular degeneration. He's also authored many blogs, articles, and educational presentations on search engine optimization, social media, internet tools, and online marketing. So today I am very happy to introduce Dr. Glazier. Thank you for being with us. Let me go ahead and switch this over to your screen so we can go ahead and get the presentation started.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that kind introduction. And I'm just going to click on show my screen. Tell me if you have it there. Got it?
Yep, we got it there.
All right, let me get this little doohickey out of the way. And welcome, everyone. Thanks to my talk, Google Tools for Business. This talk generated out of a talk I had just about search engine optimization. I cut my teeth on that part of Google, and then as I started exploring it, I found out that it was quite a suite of tools, most of them very free for my practice to grow through. And so I'm going to try and impart some of what I learned in playing around with Google to you to help your eye care businesses. So let's see, I'm going to try and move to the next slide here, although nothing is moving. Bear with me for 1 second while I figure out technically what's wrong here. I'm going to just hit escape here for a second, okay? There we go. All right. So, of course, Google was founded as a search engine, and a search engine tool is a great way for you to drive new business to your practice. Everybody's probably familiar with that Google search bar, I hope. Into the search bar, you type a query, what's called a query or question, a phrase, word, or known as key phrases, keywords, or longer-tailed things like what is dry eye syndrome, a long word in there, and you get what you want out of it. In the early days of Google, there were ways to get your listing for your practice in there and have it elevated. And while there still are ways to help your elevation in Google, that's called search engine optimization, it's harder these days. Google's kind of clamped down on it because they want to provide more organic, better searches for the queries that are made. But your goal in getting listed in higher in search engine optimization is always to get found for the products and services that you want to be found for in your geographic location. The higher you can be found, the more likely you are to draw more business, more new business. All right, this is not flipping again. This is interesting. I got to figure out what's going on here. Sorry, everybody. Hold on 1 sec. Okay. For some reason it freezes up after each slide. In one of the interesting tools in here is what's called the incognito window. You can see where I have the little arrow pointing. The incognito window is a place that you can go, and it doesn't record it in the history. So I put this up here as a business tool because your employees may know this. And if they're on the internet during the day and you go and you look at their browser to see if they're playing on the internet and they're using the incognito function, you may not be able to tell from that. So they may be pulling one over on you and you don't know it. You could use the incognito window at home also to keep your browser entries hidden from children and things like that. from wives and husbands. Also, not really a business tool here. Gosh, every time I do this, it forwards it once, but then not again. Let me see here. If anyone has any suggestions. Oh, there we go. So this is what happens when you hit that incognito button. You get a browser with a little guy in the upper left-hand corner with the spy outfit. It says you've gone incognito. Pages you view won't appear in your browser history or search engine. Next function under Google Tools, Google, then you hit the little, see that little wrench in the top, and you get this drop-down list that says Tools. And under Tools, you can find these things called extensions, and extensions are like apps that you can add to your Google Chrome browser, which help you do things. A couple of them I'll show you here. It's fun to play around. There's tons of these things. I didn't include almost any of them in here except two ones that I use all the time. One is called Buffer, and I just wrote a blog on Buffer on the Vision Monday Click e-newsletter, which you can read, get more details there on Buffer. But Buffer is a great way to do social media sharing. You can post something, or you can take an article you find that you like and spread it through all your social networks like LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter, all with a click of one button. You can also time it so it goes out today, tomorrow, a week from now. Sometimes if I'm going on vacation and I want to keep my social media posting going, I'll use Buffer. You can also do a similar thing on Google's what's called the extended share. This one, though, operates right from your Google Plus page. So these are ways to continue marketing when you're not around. Easy ways to share so you don't have to recut and copy and paste things across different networks. When you go into the extended share, you get this. You get these icons, and if you want to share it on Twitter and on Facebook, you highlight them. Pinterest, LinkedIn, Tumblr, and on and on and on. And when you highlight them, the content that you enter into Google Plus, your Google Plus page, will spread across all those networks. It's really convenient and easy. Here's what happens once you download that API. You get this little share on icon under your name, and you get these click, 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 and then that post is shared across those networks. Very useful. One of the biggest comments people make to me about doing social media for marketing is it takes a lot of time. Well, this is something that cuts down on that time dramatically. So here is the history of your browser. When you're not using that the incognito window, which was up here towards the top, your browser history you can find here, and you can see in any browser in your office, if you're using the Chrome browser, where people have been, where they've gone, what they've looked at. And that's helpful for just general information about your office. We'll talk a little bit about the web search, which we all know about, 100 billion search queries per month. And it's, of course, the 85% of all searches on the Internet are done on Google, maybe 90 now. And there's all kinds of things you can look for. And in the end of this talk, we're going to show you interesting ways to use web search to glean information and do different kinds of spying on different things you want to do. This is a Google page. The town that my office is in is called Rockville. And one of the things you want to try and work on in your marketing effort using Google is to get to be found in the geographic vicinity you want to be found for words you want to be found by, like what people search when they're looking for the services and products you offer. And if you're savvy and you work hard at it, you can get the top listing, which is, I don't know if my mouse is showing here, but I think it might be, Rockville Eye Doctor. And then also down here you can get into this thing called the 7-pack with the little bubbles A, B, and C and on that you've seen. This is what has replaced the yellow pages. So this is where people look for listings and contact information. And you want to be found in the top of here with as many great reviews as you can. Google purchased Zagat a couple of years ago, and now instead of getting stars, you get a Zagat score. Now I think stars are back up there also. But a high Zagat score, a lot of reviews, and placing in the A position will drive a ton more excuse me, patients into your office than it would if you were in the second, third, or fourth position. By the way, the Town Center Eye Care right here is another practice of mine. So we dominate the top of that list, and that helps drive people into our office. Google has not only a keyword and key phrase search, but they have an image search. So you can actually look up pictures, and you can use those files in your marketing efforts or for whatever you may want. You can even search your own image to see where you are on the Internet, because a lot of us may have images out there that we don't want out there. And it's helpful to know where they are. Not much you can do to take them off, but knowing about them is half the battle. On the Google search bar at the top, you'll see the images key, and when you click on it, I put in Seeing is Believing 2013. That's the virtual conference that we're throwing off again in the end of January of 2014. Thanks for letting me get that little plug in there. But when you type that in, this was I did this just after we uploaded a logo, like a couple days later. It already showed up in Google, and there's all kinds of other graphics that show up for that. But if you want to find anything, not by word, by images, use Google image search. YouTube, the second largest search engine on the internet. Google's number one, YouTube is number two. People like to find stuff by video. Google owns both of these properties. So if you are able to do things that Google likes, and they like your content, and they elevate you in Google, they also elevate you in searches on YouTube. This is our optometrist in Rockville page, and I named it, instead of naming it Shady Grove Eye and Vision Care, I named it Optometrist in Rockville because that helps people find us better. They don't know who we are. Our whole marketing effort is towards finding new patients. So that's what they look for. That's what they used to type in as the major keyword. And we've had 82,000 views on this page. So a lot of people pay attention to our videos, and purposefully, and it works. This is inside of our channel, a video when I was on TV about LipiFlow. And there's all kinds of features you can do. You can add things in here. It's very important to put your website link immediately under the section that allows you to put content in there. And there's all kinds of tricks to using YouTube for this. We're not going to get too deep into that. We have Patient Appreciation Day. We have drawings. This is me presenting an iPad to one of our patients who won it, and we put that on our YouTube channel. We promote Ortho-K on there, and all kinds of other services and products that we offer in the hopes that people will find it. Some of these have very common to get over 1,000 views on each of these. The local tab. So this is very important because you're a local business and you want to attract people locally. Of course, attracting them from further out would be great too, but it's not good money spent on marketing campaigns. If you type in an address, you get the service business and that Zagat score that I showed you before. People can write reviews, which is what you want, but you have to have a Google Plus page in order to get those listings. So if you don't have a Google Plus page, go to Google Plus, sign up for one. It's easy, it's free, and it will put you on the Google map and higher in search right away. This is our Google Plus page with our reviews, our Zagat score, and just a bunch of other stuff. There's a Google map here that helps people find us. Very important. Now we're going to move over to talk about the Google map. Because maps are really important. Location, location, location. I am now writing a lecture called Google Location, Google Location, Google Location, because it is so imperative to be found in Google's system under their location efforts, like their maps, with your full office listing, your hours of operation, the names of the doctors, everything you can put in there, because that is where people are seeking information, and it's even more important on mobile, where 25 to 35% of your patients are looking for information now. The map tags you, and by doing it, by being tagged in that map, you become relevant in the location aspect of the Google graph, and the graph is something that Google uses to decide who to pull up for those various local searches. You can, in your dashboard in Google, if you have a Google account, and something at gmail.com, your web page should have a listing through Google Analytics. And here's ours, and this shows you how many impressions in the last 30 days, how many people had visited, or how many times our website had shown up in search. And then by clicking on here where the orange arrow is pointing, you can see what your listing in Google looks like. And here's ours, again with the map down here, lower right-hand corner. Maps for mobile is different than Google Maps, so you have not only want to make sure you're available in Maps for people to find you, but in Google Search for mobile. All right, I froze up again. Let's see if I can get through this. This is the same kind of freezing that was happening in the beginning. Sorry about this again.
Maybe we might be able to try to close it and then reopen it possibly.
Yeah, it's not closing either. So if we want to, while I play with this, oh, here we go. Oh, God.
Just close it.
All right.
Yeah.
Here we go. from current slide. All right. Now, Google has this thing called Insights for Search. Insights for Search doesn't seem to be working. I think there was a video here. It's frozen up again. There we go. All right, so we're going to move over to advertising, sales, shopping, and coupon tools. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about Insights for Search, the slide that for some reason doesn't work. Insights for Search is a fantastic tool that you can use to find out what terms people are searching for when they look for the products and services you offer and how they compare. So are they searching for optometrist or eye doctor or optical or optician? You can plug all these in and it will show you a graph for what the most searched term in your area is. And of course that's the term you want to build your marketing campaign around. Of course you want to include the other ones, but you really want to focus on the ones that people are searching most. You can also search for geographic region, for zip code, for county, for state, for country, for the world. You can find trends. Like, in other words, if you want people to find a particular, like what frames are people looking for this month, what's really hot this month, you can find out the name of the frame and then you can kind of make your advertising and marketing effort temporarily shift towards that so people can find you. Hopefully I have more on that later so we can talk more about it because I love that tool. Advertising, sales, shopping, and coupon tools. The first one we're going to talk about is Google Offers. It's exactly like Groupon. And in Google Offers, people in your area subscribe to it and it shows up on their phone and their email. If you go look at this, there's plenty of people out there with Groupon-like offers as well. And it's really putting a dent in Groupon's ability because Google has such a greater reach, and Google has such big data information that they can use to kind of target people using their mobile devices that Groupon does not have. Google Wallet is really cool also. It's a mobile payment system where you can store your debit, credit cards right on your mobile device. People are starting to walk into our office with this and using it to pay. Right now, there's no charge to merchants, so there's no merchant fees. The people who have Google Wallet, for right now, you can save merchant fees by asking them if they have a Google Wallet. Well, you have to sign up for it, and then once you sign up for it, if you can accept it, and they can give it to you, you save tons on merchant fees. You know how expensive that is. It can be hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, depending on the size of your practice. You can use Google Wallet yourself too, just out, this holiday season for shopping. It's very secure. There's layers of security and encryption. You can also lock your phone if it's an Android, and that's another layer. You need a PayPass reader in order to use it, and each transaction has a separate. You have to enter your PIN again and again and again, and that's another layer of security. Shopper actually pushes relevant offers to your phone, so Google knows what you search for. They keep data on you and your search patterns and habits, and if you're signed up for Shopper, they can push stuff to your phone that you're interested in. So people who are shopping online for a couple days for eyeglasses who are signed up for Shopper may get one of those offers, those Groupon-like offers, pushed to their phone by Google. It's very intelligent. And they also have this thing, today's offers and nearby offers. So what's on today and what's in the area generally. Very powerful, powerful tool. Here's an example of today's offer on the top and nearby offers. So categories that are submitted through Google Places. The Merchant Center, Google Shopping. Now this is really interesting for anyone who has an optical. It's a database where you can add almost any type of content, and if Google finds it relevant, they can put it in the search engine or in their Amazon-like shopping center. It's kind of like a Craigslist thing. This is where you go to submit your data. You go to the Google Merchant Center. You submit your product data. So you may take a shot of a particular frame in your optical, put a description in there, and then you can advertise it, which draws potential buyers and people who can find it and either buy it online or come to your office to get it. So it's just another layer of shopping. It's basically like taking your optical and putting it out there on the internet so you can attract more people. AdSense is a way that you can earn revenue just by having a website. With AdSense, you allow Google to put ads onto your internet properties, and when they're clicked on, you make pennies, nickels, dimes, dollars, all depending on what the cost of the ad was to the advertiser. You can put banner ads and all of that stuff. So it's a way to make money doing nothing. It doesn't make a lot of money, but it depends, again, on what traffic you get to your website. This is another video. AdWords is another tool you can use to advertise or market in Google. Instead of trying to struggle to have search optimization to float your listing to the top of Google, you can pay for listings to show up higher in Google. And we've all seen these. In the next slide, I'll point them out to you. But you can either pay per click, meaning every time somebody clicks on your ad, per impression, that's paying for every time that your ad shows up, or cost per 1,000 impressions. That's cost per mil. And this is what it looks like. If you looked at your Google page, you've seen this orangey, this yellowy area at the top that shows up first. Those are paid ads. Savvy internet users know these are paid ads, so they tend not to go to them or respond to them as much as they do the organic listings that appear in the white below. And then these are also ads. These other two orange arrows on the right side, those are paid ads for contact lens companies here, or anyone can get. If you pay enough, you can get to the top here as well. And there's mixed feedback on how this works. I particularly, because I'm good at getting myself up in the organic listings, don't spend money on these ads, but I know people who've had very successful AdWords campaigns that have driven a lot of business into their office. It all depends on your model, what your marketing budget is, and so on. AdWords Express is more of a local type of AdWords that drives people people who just search in your direct area, and it's based through Google Maps, and it helps you get more customers. So if you want a more simple, more targeted marketing effort, then you use AdWords Express. All right, so that's a lot of the marketing stuff and the shopping stuff. We're going to move over to business and communication applications. This is a great tool. I've got a funny story about this. Years ago, in the 90s, dating myself, there was I noticed that some of my patients who came in with translators or who weren't English language speakers, they weren't originally English language speakers, had a tough time in the refraction, and it could add time onto the exam. I put together a manual list of what's better, 1 or 2, blink, look this way, look that way, and I translated it into the major languages in my area like Farsi and Mandarin and Cantonese, and I had a list. And when they were behind the phoropter, I used to kind of sneak a peek at this, and I used to surprise them by throwing out a phrase in their language, and you'd always have them pull away from the phoropter and give you a little smile. They appreciate the effort. It's great internal marketing, and it shows a respect for the culture if you make an effort to do something like that. Well, Google Translate now, I don't have to do that anymore. I just pull up Google Translate on the screen. You can see here in the bottom, I typed what is better, 1 or 2, and it gave me in Spanish, ¿qué es mejor, 1 o 2? And I know Spanish, but it was an easy example here, and you can actually make a big impact with your patients, and if you're having some trouble communicating with them, or even through their translator. I don't know, everybody who's on this call probably has been caught in the middle of the translator and the person behind the phoropter going back and forth, and you're wondering what they're saying. Well, this can help you with that, and it's just a great little tool. It's fun to use, and you can use it for a lot of other things too. I'm sure you'll find creative uses for it. Google Voice is a voice communication. It's like VoIP. It gives you a phone number that can be forwarded. There's a voicemail service, SMS, and outgoing calls and third-party dialers. Everything that you can use in a normal phone system, you can do through Google Voice. And when you're prompted to use Google Voice, you can either use an existing number or get a new mobile number. It's web-based, and you get free PC to phone calling, PC to PC calling worldwide. And outbound calls can go up, are like $0.01 a minute anywhere outside of North America. These are some of the features that are in Google Voice. I know there are doctors, Justin Bazan is one of them, who actually, this is the only way that his office communicates with people. They get a text message, and I'm not sure exactly what they do, but they translate it, and then they call the patients back. So they transcribe the text of the voicemail messages and do other things to communicate with them. And this is what a Google Voice message looks like when it shows up in your Gmail inbox. Personally, I like having a person answer the phone. That personal touch is important in my practice. But if it's in the right area and it's tech savvy enough, it's an interesting option. Google Drive, we call it Going Google. This, you can move your company into the cloud. Apple has the iCloud, and Google has the Google Cloud, or Google Drive as it's called. You can access anything you have digitally anywhere, from any PC, any mobile device. You don't have to worry about hardware crashing. There's collaboration tools within it where you can hold face-to-face meetings, share updates, presentations, and work together with people in real time. I use Google Drive. This is my favorite thing. Google Drive is where I have every important document in my life, both professionally and personally. I have all my PowerPoint presentations, all my talks in there. I gave a talk about 4 months ago where it was about a 4-hour drive for me. So I got in my car. They had a computer there. They had an internet connection. I didn't even bring my computer. I got in my car. I went there. I opened the drive. I downloaded my talk. I gave it. I deleted it, and I drove back home. So you can just do it. You can do anything from there. You can share anything, and it's a wonderful amount of space. It's not cheap, but because I use so many other Google tools, it was the best thing for me to use. I pay for a terabyte of storage. I pay, I think, $50 a month. Oh, here's the prices. I didn't realize I had this on the next slide. So you can get a $5 per user per month for a 25 gig inbox, and then you upgradable from there. The costs go up. You can have custom email addresses, unlimited users, and you can see some of the other features there. And as far as downtime, it's almost doesn't happen with this. There's almost no downtime. If your hardware works and you have a good internet connection, you're able to access everything. So there's also data archiving available through the apps for business, and you can export and import company-wide data and retrieve data from it. I haven't used this feature yet, but it's for bigger organizations. It's a big plus. So there are features that you can interact with from Google Plus into the Google Apps for Business. When you post on Google Plus, you can mark them so that those posts are only for a particular network of people. For instance, if you want to communicate amongst your staff. You can also, in Google Plus, they have this thing called Hangouts, which you can use as a video conference. You can get as many as 10 people on one call for free. And in the Hangout, you can actually post your documents that you have stored in that Google Drive. So you can share documents and edit them with the people you're talking to, and they stay saved in the cloud. You don't have to even handle a piece of paper. You can even connect your calendar and events to the Hangout so people can schedule as well. Hopefully most of you are familiar with Gmail. It's free, a lot of storage, and the interface is pretty intuitive. The calendar feature we know about in Google is a free online calendar, again, integrated with your Gmail. You can share your calendar, which is really helpful, especially personally or professionally, with your staff or your office manager who wants to know what you're up to. And you can collaborate with it. Here's some shortcuts in the bottom that are helpful. If you want to type a C, you get a new event. A D displays the calendar, and an N, use the next date to arrange. Let's move on here. So Docs, just like Microsoft Word, a Google Docs has a word processing function. It has a spreadsheet function like Microsoft Excel, and it's all integrated into the drive, so it can be accessed from anywhere, shared anywhere, and stored as well. A neat feature is called Hello Fax. This was a company that Google bought and integrated. If you have documents on your computer, you can fax them right from Google Drive. And if you're waiting for a fax, it can be sent right to your doc folder. It basically does two things. It eliminates paper from the faxing process, but you can also get rid of, if you integrate this, you can get rid of your fax phone lines, so you can save money not having that extra phone line dedicated to the fax. So it's fantastic, and it's a little way we found to save a little bit of money. I'll talk about another way a little further on here. So HelloFax, it's called. If you go into Google and search HelloFax, you'll get connected with that. DocuSign. DocuSign is a really neat tool where now you don't even have to have a pen anymore. You can electronically sign your documents, up to 15 for free, and then share them. And these signatures are accepted as legitimate, even by some banks. I had to do this today at my dentist. So people are using this. It's out there, and medical practices evidently are using it. I'm not in my practice yet, but I was pretty impressed that my dentist had me do that. And community-based networking tools. Back to a little bit of social media. G+, Google+, is Google's effort at having a Facebook. And in Google+, in order to have your listing and be found, you have to have a title that reflects the products and services you offer. In this case, it's a personal one, but for me, I would put probably optometrist in Rockville, Maryland, or eye doctor in Rockville, Maryland. You want to put a description that talks exactly about what it is you do and what you can offer. You want to have links in there that take people places. Those are called do-follow links. And then you want to tag your Google Plus profile to all your other social media profiles so that Google can recognize them as yours. They use that information, again, to optimize you in search. The +1 button is a like button. Just like on Facebook, when you like something, you hit like. +1 is like a thumbs up for some content on Google, except the +1 is like a like button on steroids, because in Facebook it might help Facebook to learn a little bit more about you, and Google, when they learn more about you, they're able to better place you in search. So using that +1 button and having people +1 your content is very important. The big major feature that Google launched to make them differentiate themselves from Facebook were circles. Circles are groups that you can put different people into and isolate them. On Facebook, everybody's basically in your one big group. But here in my circles, I have a circle for friends, family, acquaintances, colleagues, people I deal with in the social media world, optometrist colleagues. So it's a great way to organize and to isolate people so that when you talk about optometry to one group, that your family or your acquaintances don't have to hear about it. I'm going to blow by the sparks for a second. I think they took that down. Ripples is a graphic representation of who shares the content that you put out there, like where it goes on the internet, and who shares any kind of content over time. It's basically a statistics, and it's a pretty neat thing. I don't have a graph in this presentation of it, but it's wild to see if you put a post out there that people share, how far across the internet it goes. So go search Ripples and see if you can play around with it. It's a neat tool. It's good for benchmarking your marketing. You can see which posts of yours spread further across the internet, like what kind of content. When you write something about macular degeneration, does it proliferate further down the internet and around your circles than a post on eyewear? And if not, you may want to shift your marketing efforts to talking more about eyewear or more about macular degeneration, and basically helps you customize your marketing effort. This is a picture of the Hangouts. This is what it looks like when you're in there talking to people. Again, that's the video conferencing option. It's really in Google+, but you can, like I said, you can integrate it with the Google Drive and the Google Business stuff. These are apps that you can add. They're kind of application programming interfaces, APIs, that you can add to add features to your Hangouts. Collaboration, we talked about a little bit before. This Kaku is good for that. You can share slideshow presentations and do things like share concepts and whiteboard stuff with concept board and the like. Really neat stuff. It's really fun to play around with. And on to the mobile stuff. This is a mobile phone. On mobile phones, this is a really neat tool. Google Goggles, I don't know how we can apply it exactly to optometry, but you can actually take a scan of an image, and Google will search the image and find what on the internet, find things about it. In this example, this person's at a museum, and they see a painting on the wall, which maybe it has a little metal tag that says Frida and Diego Rivera by Kahlo, the painter. But that's all the information you really have. If you hold your Google goggles up to it and scan it with this, it will go on the internet and show you the web results for the picture. Pretty powerful. I've seen people do this with real live human faces, and sometimes it connects you by taking a scan of your face with pictures of you that are on the internet. So it's a really neat tool. I don't know how we could use it in our offices, but I'm sure somebody will find a creative way to do that. But it's good for gathering information maybe from things. Let's say you have an eyeglass frame and you can't see what brand it is because the markings are worn off, or the size, you can't see it. By taking a picture of that frame using Google Goggles, you might pull up a similar frame on the internet that you can get information from, for instance. So you could probably think of other ways to use that. Google, in their quest to provide the best information for people, associates you with the other social media sites that you're involved in. It likes to know where you are and what you're doing, what you're online talking about, and it does that by kind of sending its little robots into these different groups and pulling out information about you. And these are just some of the things that you want to be involved in if you hope to be optimized for search. Facebook, Yahoo, Hotmail, Twitter, Flickr, LinkedIn, Yelp, and Quora, which is a really neat page. It's somewhere where you go to get professional information. People are on there with questions about eyes and vision. And if you answer them, you get points, and you become more and more popular in Quora. And becoming more and more popular around the subjects related to eye care is good because Google recognizes that you're relevant or important in Quora, and they elevate you for eye care content online when people are searching for it. Search plus your world. This is a way to get more personal results. One of the problems with Yelp, when you look at Yelp, is you're looking at reviews and information from strangers. Well, wouldn't it be, most people would rather know what their friends were saying about particular things. So if you look right here, you may search for images about chikus and information on whatever that is, a chiku. I have no, it looks like a little dog. But it also pulls up personal results out of the people in your networks who is talking about Chico and what kind of information do they put out there. You can click personal results for that. Google Groups, very similar to the forums like ODWire and Optcom in our eye care world. There are groups out there where eye doctors are talking as well. You can join groups and get information from them. You can start groups where you can publish things and track things and basically create web pages that members can update and share, kind of like Wikipedia in there. It's a really interesting place to search for information on eye care. We are familiar with the people that we know from our groups. People in ODWire know ODWire people. People in ODs on Facebook know Facebook people. There's a whole other group of people in groups having discussions, and it's kind of fun and interesting to pop in and out and see what different kind of content is being shared around what the stuff that we're interested in relation to eyes. In Google Calendars, you can connect with an events feature. We're not going to get too deep into this, but it's very shareable. You don't even have to be signed up to Google to get an invite, which is a neat feature. But it's a great way to plan and organize events. Facebook has that as well. Photos, if you have an Android device, your photos get stored in the Google Cloud so that if you want to download them, you can at any time. You don't have to worry if your phone falls into the pool and you lose all those pictures you took because your card is gone. Every pic you take is stored in the cloud, so if you lose your phone or break it or the card gets damaged, you still retain your pictures. Google Communities, this is ODs on Google+. It's a sister community to ODs on Facebook. There's some people who interact only in Google+. So this is a place that they go to share information and talk about eyes and eye care. You can get some great information out of there. Now let's talk about geolocation tools, ways that you can get found better because you're findable. Also, you can use them. This is a lot of personal use in here. You may get some value out of this for your personal life. Google Attitude is basically, if you enter the emails of friends, family, and colleagues, then their location will show up on a map relative to where you are. So if you're out in the world and you open your latitude, you can see who's within a radius of you and where they are. It's a little scary. It's almost spy-like. So it's a good way to know who's around you. Google Panoramio is something that you add photos. This is very important. You should put a lot of your practice photos. You can see I put mine on Panoramio and tag them with keywords and key phrases that people might use to find your business. So when Google Maps pulls up these little tags, you see this little red tag in the middle of that map, you're tagged and you're there. If you're not, you basically don't exist for the people who use this to get around. And with mobile, there's quite a few of them now. Google Now is a really neat tool. It's getting more popular. It's kind of the Siri of Google, and it uses a natural language interface and answers questions and recommendations and tasks. And it delivers information to users and that they want based on their search habits. I think that there are many companies out there now in the customer communication software, such as the Demand Forces and Solution Reaches and Web System 3s and For Patient Care, and God forbid anyone else I forget to mention that yells at me for not mentioning them. But these are all companies that are using this to push notifications towards patients' phones from your recall system, for instance. So it's a great tool, and it's getting more popular. These are some of the cards, we'll call them cards with quotations, e-cards, and information that you can use to notify people or to contact them when they happen, like we used to have the traditional recall birthday cards. Now you can do it through Google Now, through your systems. So office and organizational tools. These are things you can use around the office to help your business. Cloud print. Your printers go to the web, and you can print from home or from work. You don't even need to be there. You can, at home at night, I can print something out and pick it up on my work printer during the day. So you can print from anywhere, any web-connected device that you want. Google Scholar, full text of scholarly articles. This is really good to go look up information on clinical conditions or business management questions, and it's very well organized, so it's easily to find what you need to look for. It's tied into PubMed and all things like that. These are some other business solutions they have. Some of them we've spoken of, some we aren't, but some of them aren't that important. Let's move over to benchmarking and monitoring tools for your marketing. Analytics is very important for finding out how your website is being received online, how many people are visiting it, how many people are staying on it for a long time, how many people come back to it. You get a dashboard that shows you data and graph for different time periods. I don't have a picture of mine here, but I showed it to you earlier, I think, when I was showing you the Google Plus Pages listing. Anyhow, you get a little graph and it shows you how your marketing efforts are going. And you can adjust your marketing efforts and then go look a month later at Google Analytics to see if what you did helped, things like that. Google Alerts, this is a really neat tool. I use this all the time. If you want to find the latest information on anything, even if it's incremental information, small changes, you set up an alert for that word, macular degeneration. Or maybe the practice down your street, if you want to see anything about them in the news, type their name in there. And then when something comes up on the internet with the name of what you're looking for, it shows up in your inbox. You can even watch your own reputation online. If somebody posts a review online somewhere through some obscure review site, and you have your name in Google Alerts or your practice name, it'll pop up into your inbox and you'll know about it immediately when it shows up on Google. And so that's very important for reputation management. Google Trends. This was very similar to Insights for Search, which we talked about earlier. It's a way of seeing how Google are using, what people in Google are typing in to find the products and services that you want to be found for. And Google Correlate, let's see, this is again deeper information on that Insights for Search, where you can find what people are looking for in winter as opposed to summer, or what patterns of activity are happening on the internet. So it's a real fun tool. It's very, very deep. I've been on there for hours and hours and keep discovering new things that are helpful in your marketing effort. For instance, yeah, this slide I forgot about, search terms that are popular in some states and not popular in others. Optometrist might be something that people in Maryland, where I am, use to find eye doctors, but in states where it's a more rural population, maybe they're not searching by the word optometrist because it's, for whatever reason, but they use optician. So what's good in my state for search optimization may not be good in another state, or this and that. And other helpful tools, these are not so closely related to business, but they're more closely related to having fun or finding things to do. Schemer is a way to find out who's near you, like that other tool I told you about, and what there is to do in your city, where friends are, what friends are doing, what local people are doing. So it's a neat tool for your mobile device. Google customized maps, you can actually take a map and put your favorite places on it and make it your own, so that you add them and then you share them with family or friends so they know, kind of like a review thing, a personal review thing that you can do and share with the people closest to you. Specialized search, these are different things that you can use the Google toolbar, the Google search bar, to look for. You can find just blogs by doing a blog search. You can create a customized search experience that eliminates finding things that you don't want to find. You could type in a patent number and do a patent search just using this Google search tool. Speak to Tweet is interesting. This is a tool that Google has that as you're walking down the street, if you have something you want to say on Twitter, you can talk it into your phone, hit a button, and or say now, and it goes right to Twitter. So you don't have to actually tweet. This was one of the tools that helped the Egyptian revolution get so popular so fast. Other things you can do with your search bar, use it as a calculator. So if you type in any kind of an equation into the search bar and hit search, it'll pull up the answer for you. You can, if you put in define in quotation marks and the word after it, you can get a definition. You can use Google as a dictionary. Say if you use the tilde before you write a query, you'll get a synonym of the word that you type in there. And there's a unit conversion tool in there as well. This is all just typing it right into the bar. These are other things you can do to find information. Italian food in your zip code, movie show times will come out if you type in movies in your zip code. You want to find out if your flight's on time, you don't have to call the airlines anymore. You can just go to Google and type in your flight. Currency conversion is done in there. And you can finish sentences like Isaac Newton discovered on the bottom with an asterisk, so a fill-in-the-blank feature. This is a great tool for the business. Have your office manager track your packages. Just type in the UPS FedEx number or FedEx or USPS number right into the Google search tool, and it will give you information on your package. That's pretty awesome. We use that all the time. And that is the end of the talk. I went through it pretty fast today, but that gives us plenty of time to talk and answer some questions.
Sure. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. If anyone has any kind of questions at all, feel free to type it in the question and answer module. Again, if you can't think of any questions right now, that's definitely fine. We can give you some contact info that you can contact us with if you have any future questions down the road. Or again, what we'll do is we'll feel free to send out send out an email to those that have registered, and also the ones that have attended with a recorded version of the webinar as well, the presentation as well. So we have a few questions I'll kind of get to. It looks like a lot of people actually had enjoyed the presentation. One of the questions we have is, what would you recommend is the top 3 tools with Google? I'm guessing because all the tools that you had mentioned, what would be your top 3?
Okay, that's a great question. I think the number one most important tool, and I'm going to, has to be having a Google Plus page so that you can have a Google local listing. You absolutely have to be there to be found online. That would be the number one tool. The Hello Fax tool I think is fantastic because it actually can save you money. So that would be the second one. And then making sure that you're using, that your practice is listed on all of the Maps features would be number 3, because again, They're all tied together, and the easier it is to be found, the more people will find you. So there's a direct value proposition to you for number 3 there, making sure that you are everywhere you need to be with all the information filled out about your practice in all of them, the location tools.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you. We have a couple more here. What should I implement right now to get more patients online?
What should you? It depends what you have implemented already, of course. But saying you were starting from scratch, the first thing you would want to do is have a Google Plus page and make sure you're listed in Google Local, like we talked about before. Then you want to start putting information on there and trying to get people to click that little +1 button. If you have content like a website or a blog, make sure you share those articles, and when they're shareable, make sure there's a little +1 button on there so people who like it can click it, because again, that makes you more relevant in the online marketing conversation.
Yeah, I'd also recommend, if you don't have a website, to get a website.
Yeah, well, definitely.
No
I mean,
at all.
in this day and age, you know, people should be working on getting a better website, I would say. But if you don't have a website, bare bottom bones, you know, get in touch with the iMatrix people and get one up, because you really need it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this might kind of tie into one of the other questions, but how much time should I spend on Google to get the best results?
You know, in the beginning, when you're learning this stuff, it's a big time commitment. If you want help doing it, you know, you're going to spend money on it, and other people can do some of it for you. But in the real way to get benefit from all this stuff is to get involved, so you know what to do, and you can keep marketing for lower costs over long periods of time. There's a learning curve, but once the learning curve's over and you discover tools like I showed you, like Buffer, where you can kind of post automatically, that the time goes down. I would say expect to spend, you know, 2 to 3 hours a week in the beginning while you're figuring all this out, what works for you, and then that'll kind of become less and less as you get more efficient and you understand where online is the best place to market your brand for your area. It's hard to say. It just depends. It depends how into marketing you are too. You know, a lot of us, I've learned over the years that, you know, I'm very into marketing, and so I put a lot of time into it, and my business benefits as a result, and I spend less time as a result in clinic. Whereas people who are pure clinicians may not want to have anything to do with this marketing thing and put very little in time to it. Then you have to have somebody you trust who can do it in your office. So there's so many factors that it depends on.
Awesome. And then we have one more question. A couple of those questions actually were similar, so I'll kind of bypass those. They were, I think, exactly the same question. One is, let's see, where is it? What are some tips to increase business likes through social media?
Well, I'll definitely give you some tips to do that. Keep in mind, though, you know, I for a long time I used the phrase, so you got a lot of likes. How's that going for you? You know, why are you getting likes? And that's the real question. What do you do with them? It's not, and I don't mean this in a rude way. It's just that a lot of people think likes. The goal is this is all a popularity contest, and the more likes you have, the more relevant you are, and that's not it at all. The reason you get likes is so that you can share content that the people who like you share, and then that goes out to their networks, and that's where your big marketing opportunity is. So getting likes, if we're talking about Facebook, let's say, you really, across all the networks, the way you get likes is you create something interesting or unusual or fun in terms of content. And that might be a blog article. It might be a video. It might be a witty comment or a document. And when you share that and people like it, they like you. And that's the real organic way to build a social network. Just getting that number to ramp up is not enough. You can do on Facebook, you can run a Facebook ad, and you'll get 100, 200, 300 more likes, but they'll come from Afghanistan and Pakistan and India, and because those people are paid to like things. And that doesn't really help you in your effort. You know, getting in front of their friends doesn't really drive anyone into your business. You want to get likes from people who are in your area, or people who are friends of your local friends, so they find out, hey, Jim likes that eye doctor's content. I need an eye doctor. I'm going to go to Jim's friend. And really think about more what you're going to do with your likes than how you get them.
I completely agree. I've actually seen people, different businesses that are like that, where they just have a huge number of likes, and you don't know if that's actually people that liked it or just people from other countries that maybe they're paid to like different business pages or whatnot and stuff like that. So that's actually a really good point. Awesome. Okay. Well, it looks like that's it for the questions we have. A lot of people are saying thank you for the presentation. It was very good. I agree. It was a very good presentation. Again, thank you, Dr. Glazier, for being here today.
I appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. If anyone has any kind of questions at all, feel free to go ahead and give us a call. If you have questions about your online presence that you don't have time to do. Again, like Dr. Glazier said, he involves a lot of his time in marketing, in doing it himself. And if you don't have that kind of time to do it yourself, then feel free to go ahead and give us a call. We'll help you out, and we'll see what we can kind of do to fit you best. So again, I want to say thank you for attending. We'll go ahead and send this out as a recorded version, like I mentioned. And if you do have any questions, give us a call. Feel free to go ahead and you can contact Dr. Glazier as well. Is there like an email or a number that they can contact you at, Dr. Glazier?
Sure. My email is the letter A and my last name Glazier, G-L-A-Z like zebra, I-E-R, the @ and then the word Your Eyesight, Y-O-U-R-E-Y-E-S-I-T-E, like website.com. And they can reach me on Facebook through the ODs on Facebook group as well. Yeah, email is usually the best way to get a response.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much again today. We'll hopefully talk soon. And thank you again, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.